which has the same name as this channel. And I made this Substack as another creative outlet for me, and I thought it would be nice to read what I wrote as ASMR and make something longer form that you can use to fall asleep for a while, or to do whatever you want to do while you listen to ASMR, just longer form than my usual stuff. So that's what I am going to read for you today. I hope that you enjoy. Let's begin. Midwest Adventures, Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I didn't really know what to expect when I entered Michigan's Upper Territory, but what I found left me with a soft spot for a very special place. Michigan's Upper Peninsula, UP, is a vast wilderness with historic towns and stunning coastlines. Geographically, it's separated from the mainland peninsula by Lake Michigan and from Canada by Lake Superior. I arrived in the evening at a campsite on Audrain Lake. Frogs screeched and belched as night fell and bugs swarmed in the humid air. I like camping, but as I began to set up the tent, I became increasingly disgusted by the slight mud from rain and the muggy air. Bugs were everywhere, and just as I'm about to throw my sleeping bag in the tent and call it a night, I spot a muddy shoe print on the inside. I slept in the car for 2 nights, LOL. Sleeping conditions aside, I know I am in for fun the next morning. I wake up early and am struck by how cold it's become. Fog swallows the car and the surrounding forest. The sky is gray, brightening as the day moves on. My first order of business is to visit Presque Isle Park. I embark on a self-guided bog walk. The UP is essentially a massive bog formed by the remnants of glacial lakes, leaving a mossy wetland terrain bordered by lake beaches and rocky shores. The boardwalk takes us over a small wetland, with educational signage scattered about to learn more about the biome. As I leave the bog walk toward the trail that loops the park, I spot a lighthouse jutting out from the lake and a rock beach with lake access. The water laps at the shore in a calming rhythm, and I watch as people look for colorful rocks to collect. I walk toward the concrete path that leads to the lighthouse and stop to read a sign that warns of the danger of the lake's waves during harsh weather conditions, with a story about 2 friends who died, one trying to save the other from drowning during a storm. It's a sad reminder to respect the power of these magnificent lakes. Presque Isle Park is a small peninsula park with rocky beaches and shores, offering easy access to the lake. The Black Rock shore evoked a volcanic island, especially with waves rolling in heavily with the wind. Through the slight fog, I can see the Superior Dome poking through the tree canopy on Northern Michigan University's campus. This place is enchanting, and I found my experience there relaxing for the soul. After a day in the park, I 1600s. Despite their long history on the island, there is not much evidence that remains of them, and it can be difficult to notice the cultural aspects of the island among summer tourist crowds. This website is a great resource for understanding the experiences and history of natives on the island. If you ever decide to visit my Substack, you can visit this website by clicking on that link, or I'll post it in the description. And maybe one day I'll make a video going through this history because I think it's very interesting as well. But this is a great resource for learning more about Native American history on Mackinac Island. Anyway, the main attractions include expensive resort hotels, restaurants, food shops, and the old French/British Mackinac Fort. It was crowded on this day, but I was interested to see people from all over the world visiting such a small place. Among the crowds, horses draw trash carts and carriages of people, the clacking of their hooves echoing around the island. If you visit Mackinac Island in the summer, do yourself a favor and hike the Island Loop Trail if you're able. It was beautiful to gaze at the lake below, splotched with yellow patches from summer pollen. This trail offers the best views on the island without a crowd. I was able to sit and smoke a joint with an epic view for almost an hour with no one around and soak in the beauty. As the trail continues upward, the forest becomes denser and almost mountainous as the altitude rises. Birds call in every direction, and little wildflowers dance in the slivers of sunlight. The island's population fluctuates with the seasons, but there are 400 to 600 permanent residents. On a horse-drawn buggy, a local family, presumably grandparents and their granddaughter, head down the trail, a dog following behind excitedly. The girl, manning the horses, suddenly calls out to the dog, spotting something in the grass. She stops the horses and jumps down into the grass. She dives after a small black snake, catching it by the tail before it can get away. She smiles and lifts it up as I pass, giving me a look. She is so cool, I think. Her dog jumps into the buggy and she releases the snake. After a satisfying stop at the fudge shop, my ideal day on the island comes to an end as I head toward the ferry and back to my campsite. After a long day, I am sweaty and itchy from bug bites. I hadn't showered in 2 days and dreaded another night of sleeping in the car or a dirty tent. After deliberating over dinner, I decided to sleep at a local motel for the rest of my stay. I was very glad to shower and get a restful night of sleep, and now I know to save camping for drier climates. And here is a picture I took on the Mackinac Island Loop Trail. Down here you can see the road trail, and if you hike up the loop trail, you can see this view. I began the next day with breakfast at Rosie's Diner in Escanaba, where I ate the biggest pancake I have ever seen. There was plenty of good food in the UP, my favorite being Tied Up, also in Escanaba. you visit, be sure to eat some fresh whitefish. It is wonderfully fresh in many places and a must try in the Great Lakes region. I didn't get to try the Uper pasty, a baked pastry filled with meat, potatoes, and other veggies. One day I'll return and try this iconic miner's lunch. I must also remark on how pleasant everyone I interacted with was. I enjoyed a long chat with a woman working at the YMCA when I went in for a shower, and locals joked with me as I struggled to finish my massive pancake. I'm left with a warm feeling in my heart from my memories in the UP. And shout out to Big B Coffee for having the best London fog latte I have ever had. Here is my giant pancake that I got at Rosie's Diner. The pictures don't even do it justice. On my final day in the UP, I started the morning with a London fog latte and did my laundry at the laundromat. A woman gave me some dryer sheets and we commiserated over the rising cost of living. After my chores, I was ready to explore my last destination, Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. This park has one of Michigan's most unique and iconic natural wonders. The stunning beaches, forests, and rocky cliffs on the shore of Lake Superior. I started on a beach on the edge of a forest trail. Trees lay fallen into the sand. The tide was low and pools formed along the beach. Around a corner, the beach becomes more private and leads right up to the forest. As I look out at the stunning limestone cliffs of the shore, I build up the courage to take a dip in the lake. Despite my discomfort with biting deer flies in the air and less than clear water at the forest edge, I stripped and eased myself into the water. It was ice cold, and I couldn't bring myself to go deeper than my mid-thighs. I know next time, though, I'll go for the full dip and embrace the fresh water more. I got dressed and continued up the forest trail, encountering cascading streams and little waterfalls, all flowing into the lake. I hopped over mud puddles and hiked my way up until the trail became quite slippery due to rain the night before. I decided to turn around and drive to explore the rest of the park. I parked and walked to the scenic lookout over the iconic limestone cliffs. The bright bottom layers of rock contrasted beautifully with the aqua of the lake, giving a clear view of